The next step of the lab is to get it to launch our existing an instance based on our image that points at our RDS. So we just got it to launch into our VPC so it could have access to our RDS. So now instead of actually configuring and installing WordPress, let's just launch an image that already has WordPress installed and configured to point to our RDS. So to do this, we're going to need to get the image ID of our instance. So go ahead and get and copy that. And then we're going to need to make some updates to our template. So update 1, we need to set a parameter to ask the user to enter the ID. And then update 2, we need to tell it to use that image when it launches. So if we go down to the bottom of the template where it is doing stuff, here it has some image ID where it finds in the map, which that was the thing earlier. I said I don't really know what that's doing. The mapping. Well, we're not going to do that anymore. We're just going to do image ID equals ref AMI. So we're asking as a parameter, and we're storing that in AMI. So we'll do that. If our instance is already configured for WordPress and to point to the database, I just hit an extra F for some reason. Let me get rid of that, although it doesn't matter. Then we're going to need to not install WordPress and configure WordPress. So if we look at what we're doing when we install this, we're doing the WordPress install config set, which includes install CFN, install WordPress, and configure WordPress. So we're going to get rid of install WordPress and configure WordPress. So we'll delete those out of the WordPress install config set. We're going to leave the install CloudFormation because we need that to make it work. But then when we get down here, we're going to delete all this stuff and install WordPress because we don't need to install the software because it's already there. And we don't need to configure the database because it's already there. And we don't need to create a shell script to configure the database because it's already there. So we're going to delete, this is all of install WordPress, we're going to delete that, and then we're going to get rid of configure WordPress as well. So let's go delete all of configure WordPress. So that gets us down to the property section. So that was, we deleted all that stuff, and all we left was the install CloudFormation stuff. And then the last thing we want to do, our WordPress site is in the root, so we don't need this part. So we'll save that. We'll go back to CloudFormation, create a stack, upload the template. So theoretically, this should launch our already configured system that is going to connect to our RDS. And we will put it in a public subnet. So make your choices. We'll launch this and hope for the best. So it's starting creating the web server. So we go look at the instances. We can look for the status. Would say initializing eventually. So it's pending. So this is going to be my new instance when it's ready. All right, it's running. So let's be impatient and go try to open the page. Yeah, apparently still not ready. All right, it created. Let's see if it opens my page eventually. Yep. I hit the X and it sped it along. So that we're probably having that same issue we've had multiple times with the site URL. I'm not worried about fixing that right now. But yeah, so that loaded and it's pointing at our existing database. So yours probably loaded faster. I have something in my database from testing that caused it to not work. But yours is probably still pointing at your Elastic Beanstalk, which should still be running. So yours probably worked better. So that was how we could have it to launch an instance using our image that is already configured to point to our database.